Hi, my name is Eric Gonzalez, and this is my beginner's guide to tungsten inert gas welding. So what is TIG welding? TIG welding is also commonly known as gas tungsten arc welding, or also as GTAW, similar to gas metal arc welding and stick metal arc welding, but has different applications. So TIG versus other processes. Um, as you can see here, we have TIG welding. You can completely see the difference from the MIG welding weld right here. Um, some of the points is TIG welding is very clean. It takes a slower process, and it's also used for thinner material, and it also puts down a stronger weld compared to MIG welding and stick welding, which is faster, takes less operating skill, has more spatter, and puts down more heat. As you can see, we got some spatter right here, these little spots, and this is completely clean. So we're going to talk about some of TIG welding applications. So right here you can see he's welding some sort of piping, could be for anything really, from automotive industry like car parts, to HVAC for ventilation, heating. So it looks like this guy's actually welding what could be maybe some sheet metal for some HVAC. It's also used in food industry and alcohol industry because it's produces very clean and sanitary welds. So you can find it in a lot of things like wineries and things like that. So how does it work? Right here we have a picture, kind of gets to the point. It got a little bit extra stuff like this copper shoe that you don't really need to worry about, but it's mainly four things you need: electricity, shielding gas, tungsten, and filler rod. The electricity basically melts the metal, melts the filler rod, and the electricity travels through this right here, which is the tungsten. And the shielding gas actually protects the tungsten, the metal, and the filler rod from getting any contamination from the oxygen in the air. So what is needed to start TIG welding? We're going to break it down to three sections: safety, gas, and tools. Some might say gas is part of the tools, but it's one of the things that stays in the background, so that's why I put it in a separate section. For safety, you need your helmet, gloves, safety glasses, and jacket. Mainly the helmet for the light, the glasses for anything that could be flying towards your eyes, and gloves and jacket for heat protection. Gas, you're going to need a tank, regulator, and hoses to hook up to the machine. And then your tools are going to be your welder, your torch, your tungsten, and your filler rod, which we talked about in the previous slides. So now we're going to talk about how to actually TIG weld, like the actual hand-eye coordination process of it. First, you have to be very clean, since it is to be for like sanitary purposes, which is mainly the reasons for TIG welding. You got to make sure everything's clean. You got to ground your work, turn on your gas, set your welder up to the settings needed for the job that you're going to be doing. Then you heat the base metal, and then you create a puddle while you maintain the travel angle. You begin traveling and adding the filler rod, which is then melted and added on top of the work that you are doing. And that'll produce a really nice bead like this one right here. And then in the next slide, we're actually going to show animation on how to TIG weld. So this is the video on the TIG welding process. It's not an actual real life video, it's more of a animation. Now this technique is called walking the cup. Usually when you want to walk the cup is when you're doing some sort of welding that you can't really prop your hands on anything. So you're actually propping the welding torch on the actual work. It's also used for wider welds. So as you can see, this person is welding this pretty big gap. Can't really tell how big the gap is because of a close-up, but you can see they're going back and forth. They're not actually dipping the filler rod, but they're keeping the filler rod ahead, so the actual electricity melts the rod and then fills it in widely and fills in that gap. So what is the purpose of TIG welding? Here we have one of the pictures that I wanted to show. It's stainless steel, which is one of the points that I wanted to make. TIG welding, you can weld very exotic metals, thinner metals. You can make cleaner, more sanitary welds, stronger welds, and you can get in really tight spots that you wouldn't be able to with, let's say, stick welding or MIG welding and trying to shove a gun in a really tight spot. And also the appearance. If you can see, you get a really nice appearance of TIG welding. If you know how to control the heat, you can actually get some coloration and add that to part of the weld, so you can sort of think of it as an art form. Alright, so what did we learn today? We learned what TIG welding is and how it works, how you need electricity, gas, filler metal, and tungsten to get the whole process going. What other things are needed? We went over the safety materials needed, such as the helmet, the jacket, the gloves, and the safety glasses. We also went over the gas, the tank, the regulator, and the hoses. And also we talked about the actual torch, the welder, and the filler rod. And we also talked about when and why to TIG weld, such as for purposes that need to be sanitary, for like the food industry, alcohol industry, also for getting tight spots, so like making car parts, oil pans, and things of that nature. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.